All right, we're recording. Perfect. So a lot of you know we're going through planning. So this is the planning module. It's turning those goals that we just set in that last module right into a reality. And we talked a little bit about it as we went through the goal setting module. But as you guys know too, the goal setting and planning are my two favorite. And I'll kind of tell you why they're my two favorite. They're my two favorite because it really takes you through your business, definitely, and it helps you to realize, what you're doing or what you can do differently, what's working, what's not working. It helps you identify some things. But this is where I saw the biggest turnaround for the last coaches in their business. After we got done with planning and then went into working the plan, numbers started to change. Things started to get better. Numbers were increasing. Titles were advancing. All of that started to happen after these couple modules. So that's why it's super exciting. So you've set those SMART goals, right, for you and for your business. So now we're going to take that next step and make them a reality. So with a good plan, you will be sure to do the right stuff with the time that you dedicate to your Avon business. And we'll get into that a little bit more, what that means. Sorry, I have to cough. I got a little bit of under the weather, I think, from up there too, from the dry heat. So here's planning, right? It's the O in BOSS, or outreach. You're going to plan to grow your team. So this is everything we're going over. This is our agenda for today. Planning your Avon time. Plan the right balance of activities. So are you doing something that's going to create a result, right? Prioritizing and gaining control, and then plan to take action, which is your 2-week calendar. Dun, dun, dun. And everybody that looked at that application guide probably looked at that last page and thought, what is this? What am I supposed to do? But we're going to go over it, so no worries. So this module, again, is all about the O in BOSS, the outreach. Part of your plan will include your outreach. So what do you need to know to achieve your goals, and what do you need to do to meet new people? This business is a people business, so you need to plan for that outreach, whether it be face-to-face or, in Van's case, doing it through different social media network. So let's begin by talking about how you can plan to grow the team. So we can grow our teams in two different ways, right? We can recruit new representatives to join our team, and we can help some of our current representatives achieve a leader title. So let's start by talking about how we can find people to join Avon. So what are some of the best ways you guys find people to join Avon?
Social media.
Yep. So we talked about that already, right? So Van's been using social media to find people, and we talked a little bit about what she's doing to do that last time. What else? I'll go to the next slide. So here's some different things. So in order to find your next team members, you need to talk to the people you already know. So, and this is great also for onboarding, right? Because this is what we're teaching as well. So outreach to your warm market. In addition to that, it's important to find opportunities to connect with new people. Every interaction is an opportunity to grow your team. We need to plan those prospecting activities in order to ensure that we continue to make new connections. So here's some of the different activities that we've put on here. Reflect on your success. Repeat, right? We talked a little bit about that in the goal setting. What did you do before that was successful? Can we repeat it? Pursuing your top customers. They already love Avon, right? So those are going to be some easy people to get interested in the opportunity. Leveraging your personal network. So your family, your friends, coworkers for many people. getting involved in your community, which I heard from so many of you as a strategy for starting to grow your business. So some ideas for that are PTA schools, hospitals, this time of year doing those events and community job fairs and festivals. That's on that next tab down. Conducting fundraisers, again, something I heard from pretty much every one of you. So through schools, sports teams, any kind of nonprofit organization, and then definitely running those regular Avon opportunity meetings to help people see the opportunity and also connect with others. So anything else you guys can think of that's not on there? I mean, I think it pretty much covers it besides Van social media, right? So now let's focus on our plan for identifying those potential leaders on our team, right? And this is something I heard a little bit of concern from most everyone as we spoke too. So here's the grid. It's got your motivation and your sales success. So these are the two things you really want to look for, right? So motivation within your team. So who believes in Avon, who wants to grow, they're driven, they're coachable, they participate, they're positive, and they like to help others. Can you guys think of some people on your team that fit into that motivation category? I can. And then they have sales success. So they grow their sales, they consistently place orders, they pay for orders on time, they have a lot of customers, and they leverage the Avon tools that we provide for them. And you can see in that grid, right? So if they're high in motivation, and they're high in sales success, ding, 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 then they're a potential leader. They're somebody that you want to ensure you're reaching out to start to help to develop and seek the opportunity. Anything else before we leave this slide that you guys can think of that are good characteristics that make someone a good potential leader? It's really truly the easiest way to find somebody on your team is to pull those reports. And then also from having conversations with them, right? You're going to know if they're coachable. You're going to know if they're a positive person or they're a negative Nelly, right? You're going to know all of those characteristics. So this is a big one. And a lot of you might not have looked at this before. But again, I find it very, very important. So we've determined how you can plan to grow your teams. We're going to now shift and go to our time and our activities. So your time for Avon is the time that you dedicate solely to Avon business, right? We all have lots of things going on. We've got family time, we've got social time, we've got friend time, we've got Avon time. We may have work time too, right? So the only way you can ensure that you achieve spending time with all of those activities and all of those people and on your business is to have a plan in place. So do you guys know anybody that has like specific set aside Avon time? Can you think of some leaders out there? Some of them have full-time jobs, right? So they might only dedicate 3 days a week from 5 to 8. And then they also have Saturdays for Avon, right? From like 8 to 5. Um, some people do it full-time and then some people do it part-time. So then we've got those people who either work a part-time job or they may, like you, Van, take care of their mother, right? And so they're only working at part-time. So they have specific time set aside too. And then do you guys out there, any of you vary your Avon time from week to week or month to month?
Yes.
It kind
Have to. I have to.
right. And I could tell you, like, this is obviously this is my full-time job, right? So for the most part, and I never mind sharing my schedule with any of you, but for the most part, I work like 8 to 5 or 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday. Where it changes is we sometimes have calls at 8 o'clock at night, right? Like we have those leader calls, or we have the sales call, or we may even have a coach call for me at 6 or 7 at night. There's also sometimes there's events on Saturdays, right? So I have to put that time in, or I may have a meeting on one Thursday night, so I put that time in. So we really do have to be flexible when it comes to that, but you still want to have some sort of pretty set schedule, pretty set hours. We're going to look into it. But I know it varies for most of you depending on the week or even the day. So it's really important to plan your Avon time so you can focus and be effective. You need to be sure you dedicate enough time to your business to achieve your goals. So we're going to look at that too. As part of this week's application activities, you're going to reflect on your goals and establish your Avon time. And I know you guys have all done this for a while. I know you've all heard Avon time before. And if you haven't, please ask. But we're going to now talk about how you can actually spend your Avon time. So it's important to get the most out of your dedicated time, right? You want to be the most effective you can be, especially if you can only dedicate 3 hours, a few days a week. So now you want to think about your current Avon time, the time you spend working on the Avon business, and then look at the activities and the examples under each. So we're going to look at right here, planning, selling, managing, and leading. How much or what percentage of your Avon time are you spending doing these things? So how much time do you spend on planning? What percentage are you spending on selling, managing, and leading? So do you guys kind of know right now where you spend most of your time, do you feel like? Is it in the personal categories or the team categories?
Personal.
Mm-hmm. Was that Van said personal? Yes. So we do,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know you're on mute. I was like, I think it was you. You were so quiet. So we actually recommend that you're spending 50 to 75% of your time on your personal business, right? Excuse me, I had to take my microphone away again to cough. And that you're focusing about 25 to 50% of your time on leading your team. So we really want to figure out, how do we know the right balance for you, right? Well, here's kind of how. You have a smaller team, so you may spend 70% of your time on your personal business, right? Because you might be the bulk of your business. So you're going to spend more time there. And then 25% of your time leading your team, right? If you have a large team, I see Mada E's back. So a large team like Mada E, right? You're going to spend a higher percentage of your time on leading your team. You guys may go through this, and we found this as we were doing this last time, where you may find you're spending 80 to 90% of your time on personal, and you're not even putting 25% into that team, into the leading. So this is a really good exercise on the application guide to really help you figure out where you kind of need to maybe switch things up a little bit and how you can do that. So again, you really want to balance your time depending on where your business focus is, depending on if you've got, that large team like Mada E. Mada E probably spends 40 to 50% of her time on leading her team. And if she's not, by the end of this module, she's probably going to be. So we'll really work through that together to see. And again, when we meet up one-on-one or over the phone one-on-one, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions pertaining to, do you really feel like you're spending only 60% of your time in personal? Or do you feel like you're spending 25% of your time on team? And when we look at your schedule, we can determine that. So I'm not going to necessarily go over, because you guys have it too in your reference guide, each and every single thing under planning, selling, managing, and leading. But this part, can you see when I move my cursor?
Yes.
Oh, good. So this part right here is actually where you want to be looking when you're popping in your activities into your, however you do your schedule, into your Outlook calendar, into your paper planner. You guys do your schedule however it works for you. But you want to be seeing, okay, am I networking, attending events? I do that, but how much time am I spending on that? I only have 2 hours a week to put here. So where am I going to pop that in? Or I may only have 2 hours once a month to do that. So where am I putting that? Okay. Onboarding new representatives is probably going to be a little bit more frequent, right? And then, am I doing these things? So these are things you want to be asking yourself. Am I conducting coaching conversations with my downline? Do I even do that at all? Because you may start to find, especially with your smaller teams, that you might only be spending like 5% of your time leading. So we need to figure out a way to get it up closer to 25%. Okay, and we'll work through it together. So once you understand how you should balance your activities, it's important to actually plan, which we just said, right? We're going to plan what you're actually going to do. You're going to write down all of your planned activities in order to prioritize them. So you're going to make a task list. I'm going to tell you something about me and a little bit about what I used to do, and some of you might know. But so you're going to write down all of those planned activities, and then you're going to go back and prioritize them, and I'll show you how to do that in the next slide. But in order to prioritize, you have to reflect on the activities and break them down into tasks when possible. The more specific, the better. Smaller tasks are more actionable and less intimidating. Here's an example. An activity might be to plan and participate in a local holiday bazaar. Tasks that are related to that activity are going to be things that get this specific. Send confirmation to event coordinator. Get product and catalog together. So get your product and your brochures together for the bazaar. And then even this, like it's so small, but truly like planning your outfit. So what are you going to wear? Do you need to have your Avon pin, your name tag? Do you have your apron? Whatever it may be, right? Is this more of a business event? Should I be wearing my suit with just my name badge? Sometimes those things take some time, right? We need to allow for that, whether that little part might only be 30 minutes, but getting your product and catalogs together might take you, 2 hours, right? So those are how we're going to do the tasks. I love this right here, the task list, because do any of you make a task list now, first of all? No. So I'm going to, oh, everybody's microphone's turned on, so I think somebody wants to say something.
Sometimes.
Okay. So I look at my task list every single day. Now, here's where I'm going to tell you I used to fall short. So I used to make my task list and I would never prioritize it on my calendar. So I literally would make the list, and what do you think I did? I would go to whatever was the easiest and I could get done the fastest, and I would just do that task. And then I would move on to the next. I never really had a set plan. Time management is one of my opportunities, and I really feel that I'm getting better through doing this coaching. So I hope all of you are feeling that way as well. But if you never write this down in your actual planner and assign a time for it, you could literally be spending 6 hours planning your opportunity meeting. Well, I know I don't have 6 hours to plan my opportunity meeting. I know I only have an hour to do that. So if I put on there an hour, then guess what? When my hour's up, if I'm not done planning my opportunity meeting, then I need to schedule more time somewhere else in my white space to get that done before my presentation next Tuesday. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is definitely, for me, was a huge eye-opener. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I would get overwhelmed. I know Michelle Jones was one too, where she literally has this huge board. She writes everything down she needs to do. But she never put it, well, she does now, but she never put it on her calendar. So if you're not putting it on your calendar and again assigning time, then do you all agree like you could be sitting there doing something endlessly and never getting a result from it?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where maybe things are going to change a little bit of how you're doing things. And this, next slide, is how we're going to prioritize all of those tasks, right? So the image to the right is the prioritization framework. It allows each of us to consider tasks based on importance and urgency. The image to the right, which is those quadrants, is prioritizing framework. And then that's got your importance and your urgency columns. Urgency is defined based on what is occurring within a campaign, and tasks that are beyond this campaign and have a longer runway are not urgent. So urgent, this campaign. Not urgent, beyond this campaign. Their importance is measured based on what will grow your business and those tasks that are less important but essential to run or maintain your business. So we're looking at urgent, things that you need to do right now in order to grow your business, and not urgent, things that, yeah, you still need to do those to grow your business, but you can wait maybe a month from now, okay, to put them on your calendar. They may be a monthly thing. They may be a per quarter thing. Tasks are bucketed into specific corner and an action is taken against each task. So the bottom left, again here, we've got less important. These tasks should be delegated if possible. A task here might be training your downline on a new system, or like something like Vibe or something, that Avon puts out there that's an internal tool. These mainly administrative tasks should be clustered. So admin can be clustered. Do you guys do this now? I do. So my calendar literally just says admin. And then I have my task, my little task list of administrative things I need to do, that within that hour, every 2 or 3 days, I'm doing everything I need to do admin to get caught up. So you batch them together and schedule within that same time slot each week. It might only be once a week that you need to do admin. It might be 30 minutes a day, first thing in the morning. I know that works for a lot of people. I personally have to do kind of like a 2 a day admin. I do like a 30-minute morning block and a 30-minute evening block. It's just how I start my day and end my day. You got to figure out what works for you and your business, right? So then you've got that top left, important, and not urgent, right? These tasks should be scheduled in the future. So we just talked about that, right? A task here might be planning a team meeting focused on downline duplication. The top right, urgent and important. So that top right quadrant is like, whoa, we got to do that right now, right? These tasks should be an area of focus. A task here might be coaching a leader with a title at risk. You don't want them to lose their title, right? So you want to have a coaching session with them. That's going to affect your business now and their business right now. So it needs to get done ASAP. So looking at the to-do list on the left screen, where might some of these items fall into the prioritization framework? You guys want to try it? Where would planning a fundraiser, where do you think that would go?
Cluster.
Sorry?
Cluster.
Cluster, maybe. You might be able to put it into like your admin time, right?
Mm.
Does it have anything to do with growing your business too, or is it running your business? It's kind of growing. It kind of might go in that important, not urgent, but I agree it could go in the cluster too. What about follow up on no orders?
Urgent.
Yeah, urgent and important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. What about placing your order?
Cluster.
You're going to cluster placing your order?
Kind of.
You have to do it every campaign, right?
Yeah. Sergeant. Okay.
I mean, it could be either one, I guess. I mean, look, this is going to look different for everybody. So if you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you can cluster it, I personally think I need to set aside some serious time in order to be able to just do my order. But if you only maybe have a $150, $200 order, maybe you can put it during your cluster activities. Do you see where it can kind of be different for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you've got submitting your order too. So, I mean, place order, submit order. I feel like that's the
Yes,
same
we have the
thing.
same.
Huh?
That's a kind of same
Yeah,
placing
I think
order.
that's exactly the same thing. I didn't write the to-do list. So, attend fundraiser, you would have to put here again, right? Probably important but not urgent. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
go to it, but it could be scheduled out a month from now.
Mm-hmm.
We know coach heads at risk, so coach representatives at risk, right? We know that's
Yeah.
here, right?
Urgent, yes.
Yeah. And then I'll tell you as everybody was going through this in the last program, and I'll sit down with you and talk to you about it too. The delegation piece was the biggest one. Everybody's like, I don't have anybody to delegate anything to. And I was like, really think about it though. I challenge you guys to think about it because I guarantee you're delegating something to somebody right now. It might not be somebody on your team. It may be a child, a spouse, a partner. They may be stamping your books. It might be a helper that
Yes.
stamps your books or, unpacks your shipment or does your inventory. Once we started to look at it, everybody was like, oh, yeah, my boyfriend does unpack my shipment and he does the inventory for me. I was like, there you go. That's a huge delegation. I was like, how much of your time would that take up if he didn't do that for you? And she was like, oh my gosh, probably 3 or 4 hours. I was like, okay, so you just saved yourself 3 or 4 hours a week by delegating that. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Somebody else's son stamped or labeled their books for them. Again, ask yourself that question. If I can get somebody else to do those little things for me, or you have somebody now, how much time is that freeing up for you? It could be a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yes.
So let's consider some additional things we can do to set ourselves up for success. Yes, we always like to do that. So continue to focus on more important and urgent tasks. Every so often, I like each quarter, when you see warning signs, take an opportunity to look at the tasks you're completing each week. Can any of them be delegated, scheduled, or clustered? That's a really good, once you start getting into this, those are really good things to start asking yourself. Okay, is this working? Can I change it up a little bit? Do I really need 30 to 50 minutes to do this task, or did it only take me 15? Because if it only took me 15, to Jesse's point, right? Because maybe it only takes her 15 minutes to put in her order, she's going to put it with her cluster. She's going to say, I've got an hour to knock out as many of these little admin things that I can. I'm going to put my order in there as well. Okay, so this is a work in progress. It really is. You're going to, once you start to do these exercises and you start to figure it out, you're going to figure out, okay, you know what? I thought this took me an hour and it only takes me 20 minutes. So what else can I fit into that 40-minute time frame that I have available?
Okay.
So set appropriate expectations when you're not doing Avon, right? So what can we do to ensure that those we engage feel that we are being responsive, even if we're not there, even if we can't be reached? What if we can't be reached? Do any of you guys set office hours, first of all? Or do you have leader hours? Mata E, do you have leader hours? Or you just let them call you whenever they want?
No, I have like they know like between certain time.
So that's something that I will tell you a couple of the gold leaders and above in the last coachee class really started to set, and they're seeing that they have so much free time opened up. Because what if you only scheduled let's say Tuesdays and Thursdays, you scheduled from 9 to 11, and obviously you might have to have an evening slot too for office hours, for leader hours. So anybody can call you between those times. If nobody's calling you, you can take that time to just reach out to random leaders and maybe say, oh, congratulations, I saw that you had a $500 order. That's so exciting. Instead of just letting, I feel that this is happening because I'm out in the field with a lot of you, and you just get a call and you let the call dictate your time instead of you being in charge of your time. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if you tell somebody, yeah, you can get a hold of me from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they call you at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you don't answer, what do they think? Do they think you're just busy? Do you make sure you call them back by the end of the day? I mean, that's the part of dictating your time. People need,
I think
go
I think they know that I have to eat.
ahead. Hmm.
That
I hope
something.
so, but if you give them that broad of a time frame, they might not think that. They might just think, oh, she told me to call her anytime and she just doesn't answer her phone. But if you had specific hours for them to call you, and everybody did it differently. Some people did leader hours. Some people opened it up to like order entry questions, or just almost like a customer service hour once a week where they can call you with any like weird questions that they have. Um, Obviously, anybody can call you at any time and leave you a message and you're going to get back to them. But what are you putting out there to those people? How do they know, when you're actually available? It could be called open hours, open calling hours, um, anything like that. Again, just a suggestion. And then finding a dedicated space to do that, to be away for that time. So it could be, renting a conference room. I wouldn't do that for any of you guys. You could just go out and do it in a coffee shop. So it really feels like it's an office hour. You could actually go into your office if you have that, or shut yourself into a room. I mean, I don't know what any of your situations are, but you may just go into a room and close the door for an hour and let the calls roll in. Again, just a suggestion, something to maybe think about.
Okay.
And then this right here is a calendar, right? It's a roadmap for getting the right stuff done to achieve your goals. So this is an example of somebody who looks like they pretty much work part-time, right? And the example they're giving is it's a working mom, her kids are at school. So she can only work her business pretty much from 9 to 3. And then because there's trainings and team meetings in the evening, she's got a couple evenings popped in where she has to do that. So this is a 2-week calendar. You can see the leader marked her Avon time in purple. So it's even color coordinated. I'll let you know I'm a goob, and so is mine. My calendar's color coordinated based on who I'm talking to and what tasks I'm doing at that time. Again, her Avon business is she doesn't do the weekends either. I don't know if you guys noticed that. So do you guys, again, do you have a calendar now? I know Mata E does because I've seen it. Do the rest of you have a calendar in place?
I had it before. Now I don't have. I had to start.
Okay, perfect. Do you prefer a paper calendar or do you do electronic?
I do the paper.
Paper, great,
I like that better.
great. So while you're doing this, does my calendar reflect the right balance of activities and tasks to achieve my short-term and long-term goals? Am I planning to be busy? Ooh, I love this question. Or productive? So does your calendar just filled with a bunch of useless things that really are not affecting the outcome of your business? Or are you actually being productive and affecting your business? Again, here's another one. Can I delegate anything? Is there anything out there that I can give to somebody else to make my life easier and free up some time? Did I mark time for handling a cluster of tasks that are urgent but not important? Am I setting proper boundaries to be effective with my time? So I was trying to see if she's got something clustered on here. It's so small.
Mhm.
I'm looking. Do you guys see anything? She's got send follow-up and no order emails clustered together. There it is. Leader hours for downline questions. That's a good one to have on there. So this is just some ideas of what this person's doing. And you can see she's got run a middle school fundraiser. Well, she's starting early that day. Why do you think it is? Because she's dropping her kids off at school and she's doing the fundraiser there, right? So that's why. Does this look good to you guys? This calendar? Does it make sense? And you may have days, and I love the white space. There's a little bit of white space here and there. You have to have that for your sanity, right? Again, Maddie said it. I figured they probably think I have to stop and eat. Well, yeah, you need to eat. You need to make sure that things might run over a little. You may get a really urgent phone call that you need to take. You may have somebody that calls you and says, "Oh my gosh, Carol, can you meet me by any chance at 1 o'clock on Friday? I have somebody who wants to sign up and I need your help." Well, guess what? I'm free at 1 o'clock on Friday. I sure can. Okay. So, or you could, like I do with you guys, okay, these are the only 2 times I have all week available. Does either one of them work for you to reschedule, right? That's why you leave those little bits of white spaces. I call it a time to breathe or go to the bathroom or whatever it might be. You need a little bit of downtime. And your schedule may be 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening. It may look totally different. You may have this big space in the middle. Whatever works for you. So let's take a look. I'm just going to get down here and open up the application guide for you guys. Give me 1 second. Have you guys all looked at the application guide? Let me see if I can drag her
Yes.
over. Good. So the first part is really easy, right? This is basically your leads list. So who are you talking to that you're trying to get to sign up? I don't think I need to go into that any further. Team growth activities. What will you do to find new team members? Look at, there's ideas right here, but Van may put on here using social media via a job search page to reach out to at least 5 people a day or whatever it may be, right? To reach out to people, because I know that's something you're doing because you can't get out as much. But she also may be putting 2 hours aside per week to actually be out prospecting, because I know that was something, right, that you wanted to hopefully get back into more. Potential leaders, team members that are good leader candidates. Do you remember how we look for those good leader candidates?
Mhm.
We do?
Yes.
What do you remember what they were?
Consistent.
What is it?
Placing good orders. Consistent.
You're so quiet. I can't hear you. So in that quadrant, so high motivation, high sales equals good leader candidate, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you guys might not, I mean, I challenge you to put 4 names there, but you might have a hard time coming up with one, right?
Yes.
So what it might have to be for some of you is a new person. So you might just have to put new recruit. What I want you to think about is then up here, really focusing on this part, because if you don't have anybody that can even look here, we got to start really finding some people up here, right?
Yes.
So planning your outreach, your Avon time. How many hours per week do you commit right now? Really think about it. Is it 20? Is it 30? Is it 60? Is it 5? I mean, you need to really think about it. And then how much time do you need to dedicate in order to be able to reach your goals? So how much time are you dedicating now? And then how much time do you really need to dedicate in order to reach the goals that we set last time? So then your commitment. I'm going to commit because I've only been working about 15 hours. I'm really going to commit to 25 hours because I know I can, and I know I need that 10 extra hours to get to my goal. And then here's the percentages. So planning your activities. So right now, I spend 25, 25. Well, that won't make sense. I spend 10, 25, whatever it is to equal 100%. And remember, in team, you want to be spending 25 to 50% of your time. So really think, I mean, and it's a guesstimate. You don't know if you really spend 10% of your time or 20% of your time. But how much time do you think you're spending? Is it 20 across the board? Is it 25 in leading, and 18 in the rest? Whatever it is. Does this part make sense? So you're going to put the percents that you think you're spending now and the percentage of time you're going to spend in the future in order to affect your results. And then we've got your quadrants, right? And you've
Yeah.
got all your examples in here of things that probably are already on your task list. So based on your planned balance of activities, write your task lists of the activities you plan to accomplish in the next 2 weeks. Then break them down into the quadrants. Prioritize them based on these, if they're urgent, non-urgent, important, or less important. And then ask yourself these questions. What tasks on that list can I schedule in the future? What are immediate focuses? Again, here's that delegation. Who can I delegate to? And what can I cluster? And then how will you set yourself up for success in managing your time? How will you limit, oh, I love this one, it's going to be hard. How will you limit distractions to make the most of your Avon time? So again, is it going in my office and closing a door? Does it mean I literally need to get out of my house and go to Starbucks for 2 hours so that I can get some stuff done? It might be. There might be too many distractions in your life at home. So sometimes we need to leave. So executing your plan, be prepared to share your results with me. So what are you going to focus on? So execute your plan for the next 2 weeks. You're going to actually share your calendar with me. What I'm going to tell you is this 4th page right here confuses the hay out of everybody. So don't even worry about it. If you want to you can use it if you want to. And if you need my help, just ask. But what would be best is to actually create a calendar. So either in your planner, Jessie, Mata E, I think you write it just on a regular calendar. Van, you might do it electronically, or you may just have it in your phone. Whatever it is, you're going to share it with me. So I would like you to share it with me because it's very hard for me to coach you if I can't see what you got going on. But you can absolutely say you don't want to as well, which is fine. But again, it's going to be hard for a coaching conversation if I don't have it. If it's a paper calendar, you can literally just take a picture of it and send it to me. You can fill this out, but again, it's kind of difficult because you have to put, is this like AM, PM? Is it 1 hour, 2 hours? And then what are you doing in this time slot? If it works for you, great. I can tell you it didn't work for anybody in the last session. It only confused them more. So we just did a regular calendar. So based on everything you did on these last 3 pages, you're going to then start to pop stuff in to a 2-week calendar. I don't need your calendar for the next 18 weeks. I just want your next 2 weeks calendar. Okay? It's a little bit more difficult. It's definitely a work in progress, but you want to populate in. And here's what I'm going to say to you is the easiest thing: assigning times because what I see from a lot of you is that you're just writing a task list on the specific day. You're not writing in, okay, from 12 to 1, I'm going to call Shirley and do her coaching call. From 1 to 2:30, I'm going to make all my no order and hold order representative calls. You're not assigning times. You're just having that task list like I talked about earlier, what I was doing forever and ever and ever. So I don't know if any of you, that's why I like the electronic calendar, because it's times. So many of you may see out there that there's the planners that have the 30-minute time slots. If it works for you, great. If not, and you're writing it in, you'll need to write like 10:30 to 1:30.
Yeah, I'll try the electronic this time.
Huh?
I will try the electronic this time. I was using the
Do you
paper
want to
one.
try it? I would love try it. I mean, give it a shot. Here's what I'll tell you is I always did a paper calendar. Stephen makes us do an electronic calendar. Once I started to do it it was a pain at first. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's too much stuff to assign. It's great though, because as you guys can see, I can email you an invitation. I can do all of that. So once I started to do it on a regular basis and I made it almost like a habit, I love it. I don't even use the paper calendar anymore. I used to use both. I was doing both for a while because I just needed my planner. I felt like my planner was my Bible and I needed it all the time. But I don't use it anymore. I strictly only use my Outlook calendar. Now, if you have Outlook or you have Google, you should be able to share it with me. So you don't even have to email it to me. You don't have to take a picture. You can literally just share your calendar and it'll send it to me, which is super cool.
I have a Google Calendar.
You do? You have a Gmail? Perfect. So you just share it with me. It should let you share it. When we get to that part, I can help you. But then it's right there too. It's in your phone. It's wherever you are, you're carrying it with you. You don't have to carry around that big bulky planner. I'm not telling you you need to do that. Again, it's whatever works for you. I'll just tell you that I was dead set against it and I love it now. So I embraced the technology and I love it. But again, it doesn't work for everybody, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So let me get back to our last couple slides. Everybody feel good about the application guide?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, it's all right. I love it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to click out of there because it looked funky. I have 2 screens, so when I pull all that other stuff up, sometimes it looks weird. I'm just going to fly through. Woo! I'll make you dizzy. Except my computer doesn't run as fast as my brain. All right, so there we are. We went over that. Again, any questions you have as far as the application guide goes, just feel free, reach out to me really quick. If you guys don't know when your one-on-one times are with me over the next couple weeks, text me or email me, let me know. Any questions you come across, a couple of you have started emailing me questions or texting me a question about the application guide, and I love it. It lets me know that you're trying to do it and you're not sure what this means. I may say to you, here's an example, or here's maybe a little bit of a tip, or I may just say hold that piece and we'll discuss it on our one-on-one. So it could be it's different across the board depending on what it is. So I know you're all itching to know what the hot topic question is for our collaboration call next Friday, but it's share an experience in your past when you got lost. Explain how it made you feel and how you overcame it. It could be lost in life, lost in the business, lost in geography. It could be any of that, okay? So it doesn't have to just mean you're actually lost, like you're out driving and you got lost, but it could be, because we've all done that. And just remember, your goals are your destination. Now is your opportunity to build your roadmap to get there. So, right? Love this one. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Yep. We got to make a plan, right? Or we're never going to get there. So we're going to create your roadmap over the next couple weeks. You guys have any questions at all? No? Everyone's so
No.
quiet. Perfect. Well, I've recorded this. I'm going to send it out to everybody so that you have it. If you have questions, let me know. I have a couple one-on-ones this week, but then the remainder are next week. I look forward to hearing from everybody. I can't wait to see your plans in your calendars. And again, any questions, feel free to reach out to me, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful week, and I will talk to all of you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.